What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news each and every day. I'm Drew Bosley, that's Scott Savage, and you can join us at InsideTheGame.ca, our YouTube channel at Inside the Game Official. Over there, you can check us out, and of course, don't forget all the TV streaming platforms around the globe. Our Fast channel over at Rad. You can check us out on Amazon Prime, Roku, Jinx Esports TV, ESTV, and a whole lot more. Maybe you don't want the visual side, you just want the audio. Well, then check out Fired Up Network. There, we're across 212 platforms. Scott, what are we talking about today?
We have the incredible Skull and Bones, incredible 7th delay, and I can't believe it. We also have Ubisoft delaying a large game, perhaps not Skull and Bones, and PlayStation Plus price increase has been met with, well, some anger, and we're getting some answers.
Yeah, there we go. Scott, we've got a couple reviews dropping next week. Stick around for Tuesday. I've got one I'm talking about. Next week, you and I are checking out Payday 3 finally because the servers are actually somewhat functional. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot more to play. There's always something happening here. So make sure you stick around and check that out. Scott, what are you playing? What are you playing this weekend?
Oh, I'm actually on some Wolfenstein, the Old Blood, and I love that game. Running through it a second time on PC for achievements, as if I needed any sort of excuse.
Ah, there you go. Dude, I'm heavy still in the world of Mortal Kombat 1. Still trying to find that one character. Right now, I'm pretty strong with Katana, but I'm just not feeling how I did with Mortal Kombat 11. I don't know. We'll see if it actually kind of kicks in, but until then, let's kick it over to Skull and Bones. Scott, one question mark after another question mark after another question mark as Skull and Bones gets another release window. Mike Straw over at Insider Gaming. Skull and Bones may finally be coming out after all. Ubisoft revealed during an earnings call on Thursday that the release window for Skull and Bones has been set for Q4, fiscal year of 2023-24. That means the current plan for the game is set to launch between January and March of 2024. Most recently, Skull and Bones has yet another beta for players in August. However, this beta was only for PC players as the console version was scrapped. Development on Skull and Bones began in 2013, Scott, a decade ago, with its first reveal coming at E3 2017, rest in peace E3. The game was originally planned for a 2018 release before being delayed no less than 6 times. Man, at one point the game even was being developed by a new vision, with a new vision in mind from the studio at Ubisoft Singapore. Skull and Bones will be available everywhere on we call it new gen, I guess now, current gen, PS5, Xbox Series XS, and PC. Scott, Skull and Bones. I think that echo that sentiment as well. Every time it comes up, it just feels painful. I'm wondering if it's on the shelf next to Factions. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe, right? Different studios, but yeah, kind of on that same barrier right now. I think
just in limbo.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of wondered if they were gonna set it up to die next year. And right off in January, we're getting the new Prince of Persia game, right? The side scroller. And then after that, Skull and Bones. And then after that, something, it sounds like it's been delayed for topic number 2. We'll get there in a second. But it is one of those things. It seems like they're finally going to get it out. I was able to get in on the last beta. Dude, I actually had a decent time. It wasn't that bad.
Are you able to talk about too much?
I don't know exactly what I'm able to say anymore at this point, but I don't know. Regardless, I'm pretty sure I can, because I've seen a lot of other people talking about it too. So, but either way, I think just maybe it should come to, dude, it has to come to Game Pass or PlayStation Plus. Like, I know that Ubisoft is not going to make their money back on this at all, right? No. People just need to play the game. Game Pass saved Skull and Bones. I mean, sorry, Sea of Thieves. And now maybe do the same thing with Skull and Bones. Sea of Thieves been around for a very long time now. You've seen the scale of that game and how much it's grown over the course of the years. And
perpetual success.
Oh man, it's such a cool game, like a fantastic game. And they just introduced guilds now for there. But the minute that game goes up, right, it's going to get compared to Sea of Thieves. And how can it not? It is the pirate game right now that everybody, if anybody, is playing a pirate game. So then you get into Skull and Bones, This is coming off of Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. This is where this whole thing spun up from, right?
I feel like there are kids that have been born and grown up now playing games that have no idea what Black Flag even is. It's been so long, a decade though. That might actually be. Well, no, I think Duke Nukem Forever was 12 years. So
man.
this is nearly approaching a record, but no, I think you're right. How they ever going to make any money on it? Unlikely. So I think it's a matter of trying to find which quarter to kind of bury it in.
Which one?
Surrounded by some better sales, perhaps, just to mask that.
Yeah, right. Hey, Prince of Persia came out, and then 2 weeks later, boom, this comes out, right? Like we're in that Q4. They're talking about January to March. That typically can be a good season in around February. If there is a bit of a lull, maybe Skull and Bones, people are looking for something new to play. Skull and Bones might be that little shining light for about a week or two, and then it's gone. Dude, this game will come out and then vanish. Because I don't think it's got multiplayer. Like it had potential. I just think right now, is it just too little too late?
It certainly appears that way, but do you get the idea that this is a game of service kind of thing? Or is this, okay, that's not a good sign in my opinion, but if it was something that's kind of a quick and short experience, it'd be easily buried a little better.
Yeah, right. It has multiplayer, right? That's the biggest thing. It has a roadmap. What does that roadmap look like? Nobody really knows.
Delays.
Yeah, at this moment, it's just been one delay after another after another. But I am excited to get into a realistic version when it comes to the graphical settings. The graphics alone look cool for Skull and Bones. I'm like, I am interested in this. The problem is, you are the ship, right? You're your own individual pirate, but the minute you jump on the ship, it's just you and the ship. It's not like Sea of Thieves. We're so accustomed to Sea of Thieves. First person, boom, we're on our ship, we're controlling everything. We're raising the sails, we're doing it in first person, right? Not just as the ship. Okay, now drop your sails. Now lay and just steer around. Aim the cannonballs. And then, but there's a lot, I think, from what I've seen snippets of, a lot to upgrade, to go out and gather resources for. Is there enough content to keep the community going? Is there enough draw right now at this point for this game to survive at all next year, maybe?
Yeah, I'm wondering if is it being structured maybe to support more of a competitive edge, and maybe that's where they're hoping to spin up some of the repeat community, but only time will tell, and the time keeps growing and growing.
I can't believe it delayed 6 times, Scott. Like, that is a huge delay. I don't know if going back to the drawing board enough times can actually save this game. I like Ubisoft a lot. I'm a big fan of what they produce. I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan, Splinter Cell. Like, we talk about it all the time, right? Prince of Persia. I'm looking forward to the next Prince of Persia game. Dude, that looks cool, right? Avatar coming up in 2 months, month and a half now at this point. Like, it's just around the corner. Like, this is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to getting into this stuff. Skull and Bones, dude, I'm going in optimistic, right? I got my fingers are crossed that it is good and they're able to pull out. And it has me enough excited to get in there to try it. Can I pull anybody else in there to sail with me is the question.
That might become an issue, but hopefully, out of curiosity, if nothing else alone.
Okay, well, that's just it at this point, because it has been so long. Do you think it's just out of curiosity that people are going to jump into the game?
I think it is almost, and they're not going to jump in with open-minded. I don't think. No,
it's going to be pretty closed-minded, I'm sure, going in, but there's going to be a lot of us taking a look, because I'm so serious.
And day one server issues with Ubisoft is going to be an issue. So will it be able to survive that even? Dude,
day one, it has to work. Straight up. If this is the Payday 3 scenario, this game is it's already on choppy waters. But if this has that Payday 3 launch, this game is done. Like, completely done. Oh man, yeah. Time will tell. We'll keep you posted. Hopefully we get in eventually. But yeah, it sounds like it's coming up next year. It's got more Ubisoft conversation in the works here. Ubisoft delays, quote, large game, end quote, next fiscal year. Mike Straw over at Insider Gaming. Ubisoft held its earnings call on Thursday, and with it came the news of a large game the company is working on is being delayed to the next fiscal year. The overperformance in Q2 and the current positive momentum of Ubisoft's brands build confidence for the rest of the year. end quote. Ubisoft said in a statement, quote, the company can therefore confirm its announced guidance of strong top line growth and non-IFRS operating income for approximately 400 million yen without releasing the other large game it had initially planned to launch during the last quarter of the current fiscal year. Quote, the company has decided to launch this other large game in fiscal 2024-2025 so as to maximize its value creation, end quote. The game that game, though not specifically mentioned, is largely suspected to be the upcoming Star Wars Outlaws. Scott, that kind of hurts, man. The game was revealed back in June at the Xbox showcase with an expected release date of 2024, according to Kotaku. That was going to be early 2024. With a new release window, the earliest fans will likely get to play Star Wars Outlaws, if that is, in fact, the game being referred to, is April 2024 through March 2025. Ubisoft hasn't responded to, anything as to what game that is. Scott, what are your thoughts?
Well, it makes sense they're not going to give away what game it is, although they are being pretty open and bogged by delays. I'm not sure if this is confidence inspiring or detrimental at all, because it's the nature of the industry.
Sure.
More delays. But I'm also wondering if this, in relation to our last article, does this have something to do with Skull and Bones? Is this a way of positioning kind of the up curve after what Skull and Bones is going to be likely? Speaking about Skull and Bones as if it's already a total write-off, but that could be changed. That's not set in stone. But I'm thinking this is to support something more of a surefire release that Ubisoft can bank on. And putting it next to something like that or just after, I think it's all strategic. How to save face with Ubisoft.
I think there's a couple things in development here, right? One, they don't have to put out 2 large games next year. I say 2, Scott, right? Here's what's going on. First up, we just talked about it last time. Prince of Persia, right? Last article. Prince of Persia coming in January. We already know that. That's not the big game. Skull and Bones coming out that next year as well. Again, not the big game, right? So they get 2 smaller titles out of the way. And what's that leave them room for, Scott?
Oh, do you think it could be the one that no longer exists?
What's it?
Beyond Good and Evil?
No, it's not coming out at all. That game is I don't want to say it's scrapped, but that's not coming out next year. What's coming out next year?
I sure hope it's not.
It's Assassin's Creed Red. That will be out next year. I think that's what they're making the room for, right? They don't need to compete with Assassin's Creed Red. Assassin's Creed is just going to skyrocket. Mirage, huge numbers, right? Valhalla, over the course of 2 years, became their best-selling Assassin's Creed game. So then when you line up for next year, why put out Assassin's Creed Red and Star Wars Outlaws? Let's delay the game, right? Make room for Assassin's Creed, one of their biggest IPs at Ubisoft, and then let Star Wars shine the following year. The following year, what do they have? Nobody really knows. Where's Ghost Recon? Where's Splinter Cell? That's not coming anytime soon. Where is Beyond Good and Evil 2? Right? Do we get into this discussion of other opportunities and what's happening there with Ubisoft? But when you take a look at their roadmap of what's coming out, we already know more or less 2 games for sure next year. 3 if you count Assassin's Creed. Do they need more than 3 games next year? Especially when Assassin's Creed is going to sell like massive numbers.
I think that's right. And we're going to see some of those sales drop off as the market still reacts. Everybody's kind of slowing down still. So perhaps they don't need to jam pack their own market share.
No, they don't want to cannibalize their own IPs, right? Hello, EA. Is a prime
that's
example.
Immediately what I thought of.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing you got to keep in mind too, rumors are circulating that what do we get next year? One of the biggest games around. GTA 6 is supposed to drop next year. Where do you shuffle your stuff? Do you get out before GTA drops and get out of the way? Or do you wait till everybody's been playing it for 3 months and then drop your... Like, nobody knows when GTA 6 is coming, but it's on everybody's radar, right? Everybody from the fans to the developers to the higher ups with all the pen pushing numbers going on, they need to align themselves so they don't get lost in the wake of GTA 6.
Yeah, that GTA is such a splash. Everybody's going to have to account for it. That does make sense.
Yeah.
Because who's going to appeal? How are you going to peel people away from that game?
You're not. You're just not.
Probably not.
Right? Rockstar has lined themselves up to be, hey, we drop games when we want to drop games, and everybody shows up. That's just how it works.
Maybe that's where you drop Skull and Bones.
Right in the
couple
wake.
days afterwards. And then nobody even knows it happened.
It's just a stealth release out into the ether, and there it is. No, they're not going to do that. I think they line themselves up early, and then they come into the holiday season with Assassin's Creed Red. Everybody's been waiting for that feudal Japan setting, and it has that stealth element still too, and we can now distinguish flames and fires and put out torches and, you know, play that light and shadow mechanic, something we have not seen in an Assassin's Creed game, which I can't wait for then. Finally hiding in the shadows. We always more or less hid in plain sight, right? Blend in with the crowd, but never the shadow aspect of it. If we can finally get into that shadow aspect, dude, I'm pretty pumped, right? I'm a big Assassin's Creed guy. I love Assassin's Creed. So I'm excited to see what Red holds up next. And if Ubisoft has their lineup, where else do they pull in as a publishing house as well, right? So they bring in a smaller title, they'll publish it out as a Ubisoft branded experience, and maybe we get that somewhere in around like the summer holidays kind of thing, right? June, July, August, somewhere in around there. Then line up for Assassin's Creed Red to drop around October, November, then they're done for the year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Time will tell. Definitely curious to see if it is truly Star Wars Outlaws, because dude, that's the big loss for next year, but at the same time, not according to Ubisoft's pockets. Scott, Sony has defended its decision to raise PlayStation Plus prices by up to 35%.
Ouch.
This one hurts. Tom Ivan over at VGC. Sony has attempted to justify its decision to raise PlayStation Plus prices by up to 35% last month. The move saw the cost of a 12-month subscription plans for the service's essential, extra, and premium tiers raised by $20 to $40, depending on the chosen membership plan. Sony Interactive Entertainment's Senior Vice President and Head of Global Marketing, Eric Lempel, was asked to explain the price hikes in an interview with Barron's over at Reset Era. Quote, "We want to make PlayStation Plus great," end quote, he said. Quote, with our reboot last year and introducing the tier system, a lot of consumers have recognized that there's a lot of value in PlayStation 5. Like practically everything else in the world, we have to look at our pricing and we have to adjust to market conditions. I'm happy to say, unlike a lot of other subscription services out there, we haven't touched the PlayStation Plus pricing for 85% of the world in many years. So
interesting choice of words there. A bit of whinging.
Yeah. So this was the first time we did something there, end quote. Microsoft also raised prices for its rival subscription service Game Pass in July, although the increase was relatively small. The monthly price of Game Pass console subscription rose from $9.99 to $10.99, while the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate price increased from $14.99 per month to $16.99 per month. Take note, that is in US, not Canadian. Lepel was asked for his thoughts on Game Pass and Microsoft's strategy of adding first-party titles to the service at release, which Sony doesn't do with PlayStation Plus. Quote, "It comes down to what you're going to get into the service in terms of the type of game and the quality of games," end quote, he said. Quote, "I can't comment on what the competition is doing, but with this, we feel we're offering a great curated catalog of games as well as other features and services with PlayStation Plus. Also, we give the options with the 3 tiers to engage as much or as little as you want, depending on what you'd like to do," end quote. Quote, "It's a very different offering, but it's one that resonates with consumers. Since we introduced the tiers, we've seen a third of the PlayStation user base opt for the upper 2 tiers, which is more than we expected," end quote. Scott, he didn't want to comment on Game Pass.
Yeah, totally did not make any comments. I'm not sure what other competing service is really to be in question here, but certainly not Game Pass. It's funny how they kind of go back and forth, eh? How Xbox now has a tiered system because PlayStation has a tiered system. But PlayStation did that to kind of change their pricing in response to what Xbox had done.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of rivalry going on between the two companies. It makes a lot of sense, right? It is your competition. You want to outdo your competition. However,
Yeah.
changing the times right now, dude, things are tough. And the fact that they're increasing the price doesn't go well for consumers. It is tough right now just to make a living on a daily basis. Never mind increase one of our favorite pastimes.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, but we are seeing that happen with literally everything across the world. Some insane bank issues that I'll never understand, but this is just a result of that, and it's not the first, or it won't be the last, I should say.
No, dude, here's the thing. You gotta back it up here when he talks about Game Pass and the fact that Microsoft brings games there day one.
Mm-hmm.
And Sony doesn't offer that. Take a look at Starfield. 11 million people have played Starfield because of Game Pass, right? Because of the help of Game Pass. Because they dropped it day one on Game Pass. 11 million people. Spider-Man 2 just dropped, and the first day sold 2.5 million. Right?
Oh, excuse me.
2.5 million in sales. That's sales, not people playing. If they were to put it on PlayStation Plus, top tier, dude, you go for top tier even, right? They've got to think the install base alone would skyrocket that. It was the biggest leap for Game Pass thanks to Starfield. Don't you think dropping Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation Plus would do the same thing?
Oh, absolutely. But if you're PlayStation, oddly enough, they're resisting to following that sort of inspiration from Xbox.
Do you think, with the movement of Jim Ryan leaving, that this opportunity does come around eventually with PlayStation?
That's interesting, yeah, because we have seen a shift away from games as a service, or it certainly seems that we're seeing a shift away from games as a service. So PlayStation's model might be a little more apt to kind of look and copy Xbox homework and get something like that going. But it's good for consumers. Even if they do that, I feel like I'm trying not to put a negative spin on that, because that really would be just a good idea.
It'd be fantastic for consumers. Everybody would love the fact that they're getting day one now with PlayStation Plus as well, right? Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon, the list goes on and on. It'd be a fantastic move. PlayStation just doesn't want to play that ball right now. That's all. I think it's only a matter of time. I think it's coming. I think it'll come. I think we have to wait for Jim Ryan to leave and then see what the new face takes over and what they want to do with it. But I don't know. Time will tell, Scott. Scott, happy Friday, my friend. We have some new games to play today. There's another lengthy list. What are we playing this weekend?
We have Hero Survival on PC, PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, XS, and the Switch. Desolatium is on PC, PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, X, and the Switch. EA Sports UFC 5 is on the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. Terminator Resistance is now released on the Xbox Series consoles. I haven't checked that one out, but I am very curious. Kraken Odyssey is on PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Switch. Castle of Secrets is only on PC. And Alan Wake is on PC, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox X, and I cannot wait to get into that one myself.
And that'll wrap up today's episode, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Hit us up over on Twitter at the official ITG. Let us know, are you playing Alan Wake 2? But until next time, I'm Drew, that's Scott.
And we'll see you inside the game.